The federal budget was rolled out just 2 weeks after the Liberals struck a deal to pursue NDP legislative objectives in exchange for their support in any future confidence votes. So to answer if the Liberals lived up to their end of the deal is NDP leader Jagmeet Singh. Welcome back to your morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
Dental, pharmacare, affordable housing, taxing the rich. Those were the major planks in your platform during election time. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. How do you feel about the priorities and how the money applied to them?
Well, this was a time we really thought hard and thought people need help. And they told us that again and again. We send you to Ottawa to get help for us and our families. And we delivered on that. We used our power to get dental care starting with kids under 12. That's in the budget. That's meaningful. I heard so many stories from people. I remember Adam, who has 2 kids, both who need dental work. It's going to cost $1,000 each. And he keeps on wondering if he should just wait until their adult teeth come in. And he feels a bit ashamed that he's got to make that decision. He'll be able to get his kids' teeth looked after because of this deal and because of what we've been able to achieve. Housing was a crisis, and we were able to get meaningful action. The change in definition in housing is something that we fought for and we used our power to achieve. And that's going to mean that currently the affordable housing definition based on the federal government, based on the Liberal government, would be about $2,200 in Toronto. With this new definition that we brought in, it's going to be $1,200. So literally $1,000 less expensive. And instead of just 20% of a build of an apartment or a condo that will be affordable, we push that to 40%. So that's double. So really meaningful action on the housing crisis, on dental care. And we're going to get at least the big banks and big insurance companies to start paying their fair share with an additional tax. So really meaningful.
I want to pick it up there. The Liberals pledged to raise taxes on financial institutions. Banks and insurers are going to pay a one-time tax of 15% on all income over $1 billion for the 2021 tax year. They'll also see a permanent elevation in their tax rate on income over $100 million, moving from 16.5%, moving up to 16.5% from 15%. Is this the ultra-rich tax that you wanted to see, and is it enough? Because it does bring in less than the Liberals had projected.
Well, it's not what we would have done. If we were in power, we believe that there are significant super wealthy corporations and individuals that could pay a lot more and should be paying a lot more, should be paying their fair share and aren't right now. So we would do a lot more to make sure the super rich pay their fair share and invest that back into things that people need, like expanding our healthcare, investing into our healthcare, investing even more into the housing crisis. But this is something that we were able to achieve in the budget. This isn't a new Democrat budget, but this is certainly our power being expressed in the budget that's done a lot more than the Liberals would otherwise have done. And it is enough to gain our ongoing support.
All of the parties want to address climate change, but they have a different way of doing it. Here's how the Liberals announced yesterday. They said that they're committed to spend $7.5 billion on various green initiatives. They're going to spend $700 million to promote greener building in neighborhoods, and then $1.7 billion to incentivize the purchase of electric vehicles. So this builds on their recently announced plan, and that was to cut emissions nearly in half by 2030, and then, of course, become a net zero emitter by 2050. Were you satisfied with this environmental plan?
Well, and the environmental approach is something really important to us. We want to tackle the climate crisis, and we are disappointed with the Liberal government's approach, particularly because of their focus on increasing fossil fuel subsidies. So that's public money that goes to the fossil fuel sector. One, they're already extremely profitable right now. They've been exploiting the pandemic and the war and are actually, in a lot of ways, gouging people when it comes to gas prices and making big profits. Despite that, the government's proposing to give them even more money. We think that we should end all fossil fuel subsidies and use that public money to invest in workers, invest in renewable and clean energy. And so that's something where we're strongly critical of the government's approach. We did push for energy retrofits, so retrofits for low-income families and for multi-residence units. So that's something that we push for. We're able to push to eliminate one fossil fuel subsidy that exists, but it really has been overshadowed by the fact they're increasing the subsidies by such a high amount, and that's something we're strongly opposed to.
Okay, bottom line, yours was a strategy that worked. You didn't win leadership, you didn't even win opposition in the House, but you did manage to find support for your party's priorities. In every deal, we know that there is compromise. So what did you have to compromise on, and what did you leave on the table?
Well, I look at this as really a foundation, not a ceiling. There's a lot more that we would have done if we were in power. We would have, again, taxed the super wealthy a lot more, invested more into people, but we were able to do something really significant here. And in terms of our compromise, well, we just were able to get the most we could out of a Liberal government. And hopefully Canadians see that we've had their back and that we were able to get something meaningful. The dental care program will be the biggest expansion in our national public healthcare system in a generation. It's going to be life-changing for so many people. And so that's really something we're really proud of. And we're going to keep on working on the other areas. There's lots of areas we're going to continue to push the government to do more. And we're going to criticize the government when they're not doing enough. But what we've been able to achieve is pretty remarkable, I think, to help people out, to make their lives better. And we'll just keep on pushing.
All right, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
And as a note, we did extend invitations to Finance Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland, as well as Conservative interim leader Candice Bergen, and we did not hear back.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.